Today we're going to cover Adobe Photoshop's user interface. So launch Photoshop. It will take you to a home screen. You can create a new file, open a file, and any files you've worked on recently will show up here. For this lesson, let's create a new file. You can choose any presets here depending on what you're working on. I typically work on print projects, so I'm just going to click on Print and choose Letter. The preset details will be here. This shows you your document size and your units of measurements. You can change this to whatever you want, but for print, I'm going to leave it at inches and leave my resolution at 300. You have a few options for color mode. You can choose RGB or CMYK, but I'm going to choose CMYK and keep this at 8-bit. You can start with any background color of your choice by clicking this box. A pop-up will appear where you can choose the color that you want. But most designers will choose either white or transparent. Let's choose transparent. We can ignore advanced options for now, and now hit Create. So now we're in Photoshop. The top section is the menu bar. It contains various menus that provide access to your tools and features. There's quite a bit, and you don't need to memorize any of these. Click the name, and it will show you what actions are in that menu. Just to note, each name will contain different commands of what you're trying to do. Also notice to the right of that name there's a symbol and a letter. That's the keyboard shortcut for that action. There are keyboard shortcuts for most commands. Just find them to the right and they'll tell you what they are. You'll start to memorize keyboard shortcuts the more you use Photoshop. So don't worry about that right now. The window menu option is where you'll find different panels. Panels are these small windows that allow you to perform certain actions to edit your object. You'll be using different panels quite a bit in Photoshop. This area is called the Options bar. This gives you specific options depending on the tool, and it gives you different options for controls and adjustments. To the left is our toolbar. It has various tools that you use for different editing and design tasks. You will use each tool to do a specific function. We'll go over some in details in later lessons. To the right are your panels. Panels are set up based on a workspace you create on your own, or use the defaults Photoshop provides for you. Photoshop starts you off in a workspace called Essentials. To know what workspace you're on, go to Window, Workspace. You should be on Essentials. I'll show you how to create your own workspace in later lessons. But each workspace have different panels for you to use. Like I mentioned earlier, panels are these small windows that allow you to perform certain actions to edit your object. They can be docked or undocked, so you can move them around wherever you want. The Layers panel is the one you'll use most. There's a lot you can do inside the Layers panel. This checkerboard pattern is where you'll create your art. The file is called Untitled until you save it and name your document. You can have multiple documents open and it'll show up here in a row. But you can also change how you view them. I'll show you that once we have more files open. So that's a general overview of Photoshop's user interface. There's a lot of details inside Photoshop's interface that you don't need to know right now. But as you work more in Photoshop, you'll start to learn how to use them. I don't want you to get overwhelmed, so I suggest learning slow and at your own pace. So next steps, I'm going to show you how to create a composition, so keep watching. In the home screen, I'm going to open some files. I'm going to click Open and choose these 3 files here. Select one, hold down the Shift key to select the others. And now hit Open. Now all 3 files are in Photoshop as you see here. Each of these are separate documents. The goal is to move the balloon and the bear onto the Dream Sky document so we can create a new composition. Let's move the bear first. Click on the document name and you'll see the bear image. Now there are a few ways to select objects in Photoshop. There's actually 10 ways. They're grouped into these 3 sections here. You have the marquee tools, the lasso tools, and the 3 last ones here. If you're on one of these tools, say the object selection tool, if you go up to the options bar, you'll see Select Subject. Just click on that and Photoshop is smart enough to determine the subject you're trying to select. That's what I normally do, saves me a lot of time, but make sure it does select the object you want. Depending on your image, Photoshop may not make a complete selection of your object. In this case, it did, as you can see the selection around the bear. We call this selection running ants because it looks like there are running ants around your object. So we're just going to copy the bear by using Command C on your keyboard or by going up to Edit, Copy. Now go to your Dream Sky document and hit the Command V on your keyboard to paste, or go up to Edit and Paste. Either option is fine. These are basic shortcut key commands, so just learn how to use them so you can work faster. Now if you go to your Layers panel, you'll see that the bear is on a separate layer and on top of the sky. The Layers panel is one you'll use most. In this panel, you'll see all the objects on your document or composition. I'm also going to undock the Layers panel so I can see it better. Just click on the name and move it to where you want. You can also make it longer, wider, or thinner to be able to see it better. Now we'll have to scale the bear down. You have to make sure you're on the layer you want to work on. So I am on the bear layer, so to scale the bear, hit the Command T on your keyboard, or go to Edit, Transform. We now see a bounding box around the bear. Now grab any of the corner points and just scale down as much as you like. And click on the bear to move it where you want. Once you're happy, you can go back to your Move tool, this one here, to deselect. So now let's go to the balloon document and select just the balloon. Use the same object selection tool for now and click on Select Subject in the options bar. Once you see the selection, hit Command C on your keyboard to copy. Go to your Dream Sky document and hit Command V on your keyboard to paste. Now look at your Layers panel. You should have 3 layers and something on each layer. The sky, the bear, and now the balloon. If you stay on the Object Selection tool, you'll see a red outline around your balloon. This is another way to select objects. Don't click because you'll make a selection, which we don't want to do. Just switch tools and go to your Move tool. Let's scale the balloon by hitting Command T on your keyboard and drag any corner anchor points to make the balloon smaller than the bear. Again, make sure you're on the balloon layer before doing this. You can also rotate by going just outside the corner until you see your cursor change into this curved arrow. Then click and rotate your object as you like. You can move and rotate as you like as long as you still see the bounding box. Now go to your Layers panel and click the plus sign inside the square to create a new layer. We want to draw a string from the balloon to the bear's hand so it looks like the bear is holding the balloon. Now make sure you're on that new layer. Now go to your Brush tool. If you look up here, you can change the size of your brush and the hardness or softness of that brush. Click on the brush size, and in this menu option, I'll just go with something like 25 for the size and hardness at 100%. Click on the brush size again and make the menu go away. To change the color of your brush, just click on this box here in the toolbar and a color picker will pop up. Now choose any color you want. The rainbow bar selects the color range and the circle selects the color and shades of it from dark to light. Just move that around to see how your color choices change. This new box here will show the color that you're choosing. I'm going to drag the circle all the way to the top right to get the full color of this blue, and I'm going to hit OK. Now take your brush tool and click and drag to draw a curvy line from the balloon to the bear. We want to stop just at the top since we want to make it look like the string is inside the bear's hands. Then create another line from the bottom here and just make that a little longer. So there you go. Now you made a new composition with a bear holding the balloon in the dream sky. So this concludes our lesson, so I'll see you next time.